When I think about built to scale, I think about baseball, the evolution of baseball. When I think about baseball, I think about the Chicago Cubs. They are my favorite team. I remember when I was a little kid, my parents bought me this squished Cubs hat from a garage sale, and I was immediately in love with the Cubs. They were the lovable losers, and that drew me to them. So the Cubs are one of the oldest franchises, starting in 1876. And the iconic Wrigley Field was built in 1914. When you visit Wrigley Field, it's like stepping back in time. You can feel the traditions and evolution of baseball. And if you step into the bathrooms, it's like literally stepping back into 1914. They didn't even have night games at Wrigley Field until 1988 because they didn't have lights at the stadium. In this picture here, you can see Wrigley Field when it was originally built. It didn't even have the iconic ivy-covered walls. It was just open. You can see buildings in the back. And those buildings in the back, those were seminaries and even an asylum. And that's actually where the phrase, "that came out of left field," came from. Because during games, you would hear screams from the asylum. And people would say, "What was that?" "I don't know, it came out of left field." Now, baseball evolved over time. The competition got tougher. The first contract in baseball was for $125 a month. More recently, Shohei Ohtani signed for $700 million over 10 years. To get into baseball today, you have to be the best. You have to be the top 1% of the top 1% just to get in. But once you're in, you're not even on a pro team yet. You're in the minors. So you're on a smelly bus with a smelly roommate, traveling on the road, trying to get into the actual majors. And once you get called up, you're not even like on the team yet because one bad performance and you're sent right back down. So you're competing with 4 other dudes that do the exact same thing you do, just trying to keep your spot on the roster. And if that's not bad enough, there's a draft every single year simply to replace you with somebody better. So baseball started as this game that was played for fun and scaled to an efficient business model. The Chicago Cubs. They won the World Series, and it was the first time they had done it in over 100 years. The last time they had won the World Series before that was 1908. Teddy Roosevelt was president. So there was a long drought. They were the lovable losers. I remember the night they won that World Series. I was visiting a company in Wichita, Kansas. And it was a late game, and there was a rain delay. It was Game 7. I had to be up early the next morning, but I was not going to bed until that game was over and the Cubs won the World Series. And they did it. They won the World Series. After they won the World Series, a couple months went by, and spring training began. And spring training always begins by the pitchers and the catchers showing up to pitch and catch, the very basic things. But that's what championship teams do. They know that it's in the basics, it's in the training, it's in the development. That's why things like internal trainings in your companies, external, Nexstar trainings, being in contact with your coach to help you apply those things, having your coach out to your company to solve problems in real time. That's why these things are so important. This is your spring training. This is your practice. This is what leads to championships. Now the Cubs, they had some of the best players, but they also developed some of the best players. So we've